Just look at this beautiful map of Japan with cherry blossoms effect in this time of the year. Well, I'm sorry for being a bit late with this video, but this whole week I was in Paris for the Viva Tech conference for my full-time job. But I'm back to work on my YouTube today, and we're gonna discuss about how Japan works, how the clans work there, and how the Daimyos work. Let's get into some details. So first of all, we get to learn that the game starts with a bit tough situation in Japan because a previous shogun, Kamakura, was overtaken by the Ashikaga shogunate. So Ashikaga shogun is right now the ruling shogun of Japan, with Kamakura being actually the opposition, trying to get their position back. And there will be a whole international situation about that in Japan. You see, that's how the Ashikaga shogunate panel looks like. 31 years old, good age, 339 locations in Japan, 5.3 million people, 27 base stacks, and 30,000 troops. Well, yeah, let's take a look at their states. You see, as for many other countries, Japan will also have their own names. We've got the samurais, 38,000 of them, Soryo, Shonin, but actually vast majority of the population will be nomin, so the commoners. Shogun itself will have its own major reform, which is obviously the shogunate, that gives the cost of a piece the elite's action, and it gives you cultural influence, additional guarantee forms, but also expected cost of the card, but it's just minus 1%. Everyone else, at least at the start, will be clans. That will be having noble estate satisfaction, tax for noble estate, possible guarantee forms, and monthly army tradition. What is very important about the clans that these are not land-based countries. In 1337, the only land-based country is the shogunate. All of the Japanese clans will be building-based countries, and they will be functioning based on the buildings where they own that, and all the money and manpower will be coming from these buildings, but I'll get to that in a second. One of the other guarantee forms is Japanese imperial family, which gives you crown power, noble estate satisfaction, max tax for the noble estates, and diplomatic reputation. I think that might be for the second shogun, the opposing one that was just overthrown, because you see this is a major reform. Now, as for the advances, a reminder, this mainly work like national ideas. Many of these advances will be common for all of Japan, but a lot of the clans will also be having their own unique advances. So see, Bushido is most likely the common one of the discipline, headhunting with prestige from land battles, codified Bushido with prestige decay. I love that for each of them there's a bit of like a background explanation. Clans of Tosa, which is surely a local clan advance with additional maximum power, control of the Izumi Sea, same with a trade maritime advantage. Unlucky alliances gives you 20% diplomatic capacity, uninspiring clan army morale, this is also surely local. Furin Kazan, monthly army tradition, and then Furin Kazan monthly army tradition. As usual, they only show us some of them, because there are definitely way more than that. But yeah, they confirming what I just said, so that these are building based countries, so for newer players, definitely try starting as a shogun. And once you have more experience with the game, you can try as a building based clan. And for all of those of you that are furious right now, like, wow, I want to play as a daimyo, not a freaking clan without land. This will be later into this dev diary. You will be able to become a daimyo a bit later. But yeah, let's see how these building based countries work. What kind of buildings they are having. You see, Shogun is giving you trade advantage, trade capacity, manpower, and gold. So this will be probably one of your major sources of income. Yamashiro will be giving you some more manpower, you'll be able to build regiments here and even more gold. Gosho is exclusive for the imperial court countries, which gives you ability to recruit regiments, even more gold and manpower, while Yakata will be for the clans with additional gold source. Kokufu building is, I assume, related to Shinto, which is giving you trade advantage capacity, even more manpower and gold. But you see, this manpower increase is just very minimal. Now, the whole situation that I was mentioning to you earlier is called Nanbokucho, Nabokucho Jidai, where at the start of the game, each of the clans will be able to decide on which side of the situation they are, the previous shogun or the current one. so you can stand firm on your position. So every of the clan will start with a pre-recorded historical setup, but each of them will be able to keep their historical position, change it to the other one, or even decide to be neutral. So then once that happens, all of them will be divided into two sides. So you have northern court, southern court, and each of the clans will be able to still change their side of support or even declare neutrality during the situation. As each of the international situations will be having a map where you see we're having the northern and southern courts, we're having yellow clans supporting one of them and blue clans supporting the other one. Besides ability for the manual choice of your stance, there will be also plenty of events firing for both of the sides, giving you casus bellis. Some of the events will be even forcing you to have wars, making sure that the chaos is historical. What's important, and I think that is similar to the religious wars in EU4, as long as the situation is active, you cannot declare war on another clan that is on the same side of you in this situation. So in case you want to declare a war, you have to change your stance. To finish the situation, one of the cards must be forced to disappear, and there's a special treaty for that, forced imperial abdication. So it's kind of like a peace treaty in, again, HRE wars in EU4, where you enforce the religion. So the second situation, the Sengoku Jidai, that is more important in this case, can happen at the 1400s. If there's no shogun, or the shogun is in a weak position, so it has low legitimacy and stability, or there's plenty of rebels, or when there are more than 6 wars currently active among the clans. So if you're a strong emperor, you might want to enforce the clans to be more peaceful between each other. Otherwise, that situation will happen. And once it starts, the biggest clans will be automatically transferring into Daimyos. So you see, the Daimyos are introduced into the game just a bit later into that, and over time more and more will be able to become a landed countries, not the building countries. So all of the locations in the Shogunate where you have a presence with the buildings will become owned by you once you become a daimyo. And the Japanese clan guarantee form, the major reform, will be replaced with a daimyo one, which you see is getting you all of these bonuses, including an access to noble levy size being increased by 100%. You don't have to do initially go into being a daimyo, you can wait, and you'll be still having this option in the future, both via events that can fire during the situation, but also for the action Proclaim Independence in the situation panel. So this is all of the actions that the clans will be having accessible. But the Shogun itself, you see, is having plenty of them. And in general, that situation is pretty much how the whole relationship between the daimyos, as well as between daimyos and Shogun, will look like. Because that situation will be ongoing until the whole Japan is united under one Shogun, or you're just the only daimyo left in the whole region. Okay, that's it for the details. You see that there will be 150 countries playable at the start in the Shogunate, a few times more than in EU4, but as usual this is not, because I want to get into the comment section to see if there's any more content shared by the Paradox. Will the Japanese have some way of keeping the imperial dynasty around? Like, if the papacy is destroyed, it gets recreated elsewhere. If the imperial cores are destroyed, can they recreate themselves? If it's destroyed completely, then no, they will be gone, reduced to ashes. There are some questions about the characters, and there's a confirmation that Sen no Riku will be a character. There'll be also the tea ceremony content and the temples that are asked about here. I was thinking about the same, so how does it work when two clans are having buildings in the same location and both convert to owning locations? Is there a tiebreaker value or is it random? It will be random, though there are quite a bit of locations to be landed, so it's difficult that there's a complete overlap between the two clans. I think it's a very ace situations that we are talking about, so not only having buildings in the same location, but also two clans becoming a daimyo at the very same moment. That's probably barely ever happening. What about Kanrei? Earlier this week you said you'd tell us about them. There is content related to Kanrei, but they can't show everything here. Even I remember a few dev diaries ago they said there's a limit of pictures they can share in a dev diary, which is the main limiting factor, but there's plenty more content that we didn't see here. Is the Oda clan playable? Obviously yes, for all the fans of it from EU4 and history fans of course as well. Is there any content for the Rise of the Peasants leaks like the Iga Iki or Koka Iki? Not right now, although I have it in my notes and I would like to add something for them eventually. The question is, before release or for the future DLC? There are some typos that they shared in the chat and they got fixed immediately 30 minutes after the release. Please tell me the manpower addition still takes pops into account, and when manpower uses a soldier dies, a pop dies too. Yeah, that was explained like last year already, but yeah, that is true, and you could also have seen that in my video. Will the country be called Japanese Empire if Imperial power is restored? The name Yamato wasn't really used in the time period. Yes. What happens if both of the courts are destroyed in a war? How will both of the shogunate and Shinto religion work without an emperor? There are limitations to avoid that. Is there an event for the creation of the Tokugawa clan and Ieyasu? Also, is there any content related to the Imjin War? Not right now. That's why there's so many excess. But guys, this kind of feedback usually means they're gonna work on it. I somewhat prefer you rather than Pavia. He always released the dev diary on time, while Pavia is always late. Don't take it against him, he usually has to deal with more things than me. You're too serious, Roger. But I think lately Pavia was late with some dev diaries, but in the past he was always on time. How do Ryuki factor into this? Can they become a daimyo? No, Ryuki is not considered to be in the shogunate, but they can join the shogunate like they can in EU4. Are Japanese clans able to make alliances and marriages with countries outside of Japan? If the other country accepts, then yes. Also, what happens when you unite Japan and there's like the country winning the Sengoku and unifying Japan will keep its own color and also name and the flag. Are there any works of art in Japan? There are 3 imperial regalia. Not that many actually. Does Shogun have a special casus belli peace treaty that turns other landed daimyos back to being building-based countries? Yes. I was expecting some more pictures like events or advances or even characters in the comment section, but it was mostly focused on explaining some stuff and replying to feedback. So this is it, guys. I'm sure there's plenty of more stuff that we haven't learned about yet, like for example, the events of Europeans arriving or other situations that will be surely happening in Japan. There's a huge time period that we're having in EU5. But guys, let me know if you'd like to see me going through dev diaries for Shinto, which was this week, but also Korea and Manchuria. For today, guys, thanks for watching, leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. Bye!